Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, children. Today we are going to continue with the current electricity. Hope you are very familiar with the previous concepts of this chapter. Now, previously we were discussing about the introduction of Ohm's law. It stated that the potential difference between the ends of the conductor is proportional to the current. And when I replace this proportionality, I replace it by a constant called R, which is nothing but you call it as resistance of the conductor. Now resistance is the amount it resists. So the resistance in a particular material, it resists the flow of charges in a conductor. And we were also discussing about the factors on which the resistance depends on. We found out that resistance depends on the length of the conductor and also inversely proportional to the area of the conductor. So R proportional to L by A, and this proportionality replaced by a constant called rho. So this rho is nothing but you call it as specific resistance or resistivity. Okay, what is that, children? Specific resistance or resistivity, which depends only on the nature of the material. And the unit of resistance was found to be ohm. The unit of resistivity was found to be ohm meter. And the reciprocal of specific resistance is nothing but, or the resistivity is nothing but you call it as conductivity. And we were also discussing about current density. Current density is nothing but the current flowing through unit area. Okay, current per unit area, the amount of current flowing through a particular area is nothing but you call it as current density. And the unit of current density was found to be ampere per meter square. So these are some of the very important formulas that we discussed on our last class. Okay, today we are moving on to drift velocity, children. But before I go into the topic of drift velocity, let us do some three problems based on the previous formula what we read. It's a very easy, the three important sums which are considered to be very easy. So let us discuss these sums and then go into the topic of drift velocity. Okay, so let us start with the first problem, children. Let me read the problem first. 10 power 20 electrons, each having a charge of 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So the charge value is E is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Okay, and how many electrons are there? Number of electrons is 10 power 20. Okay, ma? So a charge of 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb pass from a point A towards another point B in 0.1 second. So T is given as 0.1 second. What is the current in ampere? What is its direction? So we need to find out the value of current. Simply just a direct substitution of the formula. What is the formula for current? We discussed. Current is nothing but Q by T. But the Q value is not given. Okay, the Q value was not given. But we know the value of Q to be N into E. Yes or no? So substitute here. So I is equal to, I'll draw a line here. So I is equal to, instead of Q, you substitute NE by T. So what is the value of N? N value is already given, children. So it is 10 power 20 into what is charge of an electron? It is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19, which is the charge of the electron, divided by 0.1 second. So I'll rearrange this. 10 power 20 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. This 0.1 can be written as 1 into 10 power minus 1. Okay. So when I bring this 1 into 10 power minus 1 to the numerator, 10 power minus 1 becomes 10 power plus 1, right? So this will be 1.6 into 10 power, this will be minus 18. So 20 minus 18 will be 10 power 2 or ampere. Or I can also write the value of current to be 160 ampere. It is just a direct substitution of the formula. Very simple sum. Okay, ma? Clear? Now, conclusion. Current I have found out. What is its direction? Okay. Now, look at the direction of the electron. Now, the electron is moving from point A to point B. So, what should be the direction of current in this case, children? Can anybody make any guess? What is the direction of conventional direction of current we have discussed in 10th standard? Here I didn't mention about this. The direction of current. The direction of current is from B to A. Why? Because the movement of electrons, as in the textbook, as in the sum they have given, the movement of electrons, that is the charge, is from A to B, and we know the direction of conventional current is opposite to the direction of movement of charges. Movement of charges nothing but movement of electrons. So the electrons are moving from point A to B. So the direction of current will be just opposite to that of the direction of electrons, which is from B to A. Okay, so the conventional direction of current in 10th standard, you electrons, of course, whenever we talk about the value of current, we say that current is nothing but movement of charges per unit time per unit time. Now this time is a very important factor, children. You consider an area. Suppose let us consider a conductor like this. Okay, now when we talk about flow of charges, now every area need not be the same. So suppose if the area is going to be more, you have more number of charges to be flowing and you take more amount of time. So why do we consider time in the formula of current? Is it depends, the time varies depending upon the area and the thing. So whenever we talk about the formula of current, we go for I is equal to Q by T. And when we talk about the direction of current, actually current is rate of flow. Rate means with respect to time. So the rate of flow of charges depends upon the time. So the conventional direction of current is found to be just opposite to the flow of electrons. So the direction of conventional current is from positive to negative, which is just opposite to the direction of flow of electrons. Electrons will move from negative to positive. Conventional direction of current is from positive to negative. So you understood this answer here now. What is its direction? So the direction is from B to A, which is opposite to the direction of flow of electrons, which is from A to B. Is it clear, children? Yes? Shall we move to the next problem? The next problem is, I think this you would are very familiar with, but you should know, that is why I recalled this problem. Show that 1 ampere is equivalent to flow of 6.25 into 10 power 18 elementary charges per second. The question can be asked like this: how much amount of charge is stored in 1 ampere of current in 1 second? This already you have proved in 10th standard, but not like this. Actually here they have asked us to prove that it consists of 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons, but in your lower classes you would have got this value, which is 6.25 into 10 power 18. Okay, so again we'll go for the substitution here. I is equal to 1 ampere. Okay, 1 ampere is given, time is 1 second ma. Okay, now you have to prove that in 1 second, when 1 ampere current is allowed to flow on a conductor, it will have 1 coulomb, it will produce 6.25 into 10 power 18 charges. So what is the formula for current? I is equal to Q by T, isn't it? So what is Q formula? Q is, again it is N into E, Ne by T. So I wanted to prove this N is equal to 6.25. So I rearrange this formula. So N comes to the left side. So I have IT by E. So what is I now? I is 1 ampere and T is also 1 second divided by what is the charge of an electron? It is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19, children. So this will be 1 by Now replace this. Whenever you have a decimal sign in the denominator, just make it as a whole number. So when I change this, 16 into 10 power minus 20 will be there. When I take it up, it becomes 10 power plus 20, right? So 1 by 16 is 0.0625 into 10 power 20. So in terms of SI unit, when I write, so it will be 6.25 into 10 power 18. So we have proved that 1 ampere is equivalent to 6.25 into 10 power 18 elementary charges that are flowing in 1 second in a conductor. Okay, so this is a very important. So 1 coulomb, what is the amount of charge that is flowing in 1 ampere current? Okay, so this is the amount of charges, 6.25 into 10 power 18 charges for 1 second. Clear? Is it clear, children? Okay, now let us move on to the third problem. This is quite an interesting problem, children, here. Now Q of t of a wire is given, which is given as AT square plus BT plus C. Okay. Now the first question is, what is the, write the dimensional formula for A, B and C. Okay, hope you remember dimensional formulas which you read in your 11th standard. So let us start with, this is 1, right? Okay. So dimension of A. So take the first term which contains A. So left side you have Q of t, which is equal to AT square. So what will be dimension of A? The formula will be A is equal to, I can write as Q by T square, right? So what is Q? Q is charge, whose dimensional formula is ampere into time, which is a dimensional formula for Q, and denominator you have T square. So T and T gets cancelled. So here I have T minus 1. So when this 2 t power 2 comes up, it comes as t power minus 2. Already I have t power 1 here. So 1 minus 2 will be minus 1. So the dimensional formula for A is AT minus 1. Similarly, let us go for the dimension of B. So B, again left side and right side. Left side Q, right side BT. So B will be again Q by T, children. So Q is A into T divided by T. So this gets cancelled. So I have the dimension of B to be simply A. Okay, ma? Then the next one is dimension of C. C, left side you don't have, left side you have only Q, right side you have 1C. Okay, so I have C to be only Q, which is equal to A into T, which is the dimensional formula for Q. So we have found out the dimensions of A, B and C, right? Okay. Now second question. Second question you see children. The second question is, if the values of A, B and C in SI units are 5, 3 and 1, respectively, find the value of current at t is equal to 5 second. So what is the formula for current? I is equal to dq by dt. So when you will go for this dq by dt, now dq by dt is instantaneous current. Now they have asked us to find the value of current at t is equal to 5 second. 5 second in that sense, that time is very particular here. So they talk about I is equal to dq by dt, which is the value of instantaneous current. So dq by dt, so I will substitute here d by dt of, what is the value of q? Q is AT square plus BT plus C. Okay, ma? You remember in the first introduction, I gave the definition. I said I is equal to Q by T is the formula for current, and if the current is flowing Okay, if it is not a steady current, so different areas will have different values of current. In that case, we will say that it is instantaneous current, which is given by the formula I of t is equal to limit del t tend to 0. I said del q by del t, which is also equal to dq by dt. So here we talk about the instantaneous current. Where is my cursor? Here I talk about the instantaneous current. That is why they have specified t is equal to 5 seconds. Suppose if the t values have got two values, t1 is equal to 3 seconds, t2 is equal to 5 seconds. So in that case, you will find out the value, average value of current is found. Okay, but here it is instantaneous current. You have to understand it very, very clearly, children. Okay, so differentiate this. So d by dt of, when I differentiate this equation, this will be 2a. So this will be 2at plus b, right? So when I differentiate, this will be 2at plus b. Now I have been given the timing. So what is the time I have given? So at t is equal to 5 seconds. So I will be substitute 2 into, what is the value of a they have given? Value of a is given as 5. The time is also given as 5 plus the value of b is 3. So 2 into 5, 10, 10 into 5, 50 plus 3, you have the current value to be 53 ampere. Okay, are you able to understand this concept, children? So you have to differentiate about what is average current and what is instantaneous currents. So that is why I did this formula. I did this for problem for you. Okay, so with this, we are moving on to the next interesting topic, which is called as drift velocity or drift of electrons and the origin of resistivity. We are going to talk about, again, we are going to relate the Ohm's law formula. We are going to arrive at once again Ohm's law here. Okay, whatever formulas we are discussing, we are going to compare this with this. Okay, so here is the topic for drift velocity. Now, what happens to the electron? Suppose, let us consider a conductor like this. Okay, let us consider a conductor. Now, as you know, metallic conductors, now you have positive ions. Okay, now whenever you talk about metal, you have both positive and negative charges, right? So positive charges and electrons are emits. Okay, here and there you have electrons. So this is nothing about a metallic conductor. So if there is no external field or if there is no energy that is given, now all the electrons, now here I am talking about the electrons that are there in the outermost shell. Okay, so those electrons are considered to be free electrons, and these free electrons are set to move randomly inside the conductor. So when they move randomly inside the conductor, they come and hit with this positive. Now positive ions, they will not be able to move freely in a conductor because they are considered to be massive when compared to the electrons. So they will not be in a position to move, but whereas these electrons, they will be very free to move in and around the conductor. Now when they move, they will come and hit the positive ions. They gain some velocity. So but they move randomly in the conductor. Okay, so these electrons will suffer collision. They will come and hit. So when they hit, they collide. Okay, they will suffer collisions with the positive ions. Okay, but after collision also, they arrive at the same velocity, speed or velocity. Okay, they will emerge with the same velocity, but after they come out, as I said, these electrons will be in random motion. So what will be the average velocity of these electrons? The average velocity of these electrons will be considered to be 0. Why it is considered to be 0 here? Now electron will be moving in this direction, some electron will be moving in this direction, in this direction, in this direction. So they move randomly. So what will be the net velocity? Net means average. What will be the average velocity? Let us consider the velocity of first electron. So let us consider the velocity of the first electron. Let it be v1. Okay, velocity of first electron is v1. Similarly, let us consider the velocity of second electron is considered to be v2. Then velocity of the third electron, it is considered to be v3. So what will be the velocity? Now this velocity is due to the collisions, which is called as thermal collision. When they hit with the positive ions, you call those collisions as thermal collisions. So this velocity is due to the collision with the positive ion. So the average thermal velocity, can be written as Vi is equal to, how will you find out the average? You will add all the velocities, V1 plus V2 plus V3 up to Vn divided by the total number of electrons. Yes or no? So this is the average. But what I said, this average is equal to 0. Why it is equal to 0? Because the electrons are not restricted to one particular direction. They move randomly here and there. So in that case, the average thermal velocity of the electrons in a metallic conductor will become 0. Okay, so this is the first part of the concept. Is it clear? Now what I am going to do is, again I am going to consider the same conductor. Now this is the conductor once again. Now I am going to consider same positive ions that are fixed, which are not moving freely. Now in between these positive ions you have electrons which are considered to be negatively charged. Now this time what am I going to do is, I am going to connect this to an external power supply. Now this power supply, which means I connect it to a battery. Okay, so this is the positive terminal of the battery, this is the negative terminal of the battery. So I connect this conductor to an external supply. So when I connect this to an external supply, will there be an electric field created, children? So electric field will be created and this will be in this direction because it is from positive to negative. So there is an electric field that is created. Now what happens to the electrons? What will happen, children? Tell me. Now these electrons, under the influence of the electric field that is given, these electrons will experience a force. Yes or no? We have already read in electrostatics. Okay, electron will experience a force when kept in an external electric field. So what is the force they gain? So when you give an electric field, now what happens to the electrons? Already they have a velocity. Now when an external energy is given, the electrons gets accelerated. They gain more energy because of the electric field that is given. So they get accelerated and of course definitely they will experience a force which is given by F is equal to E into E. Hope you remember this formula for electric field. What is electric field? Electric field is equal to force experienced per unit charge, or F is equal to E into Q. Q is nothing but here charge of the electron. We talk about electrons here. So it experiences a force which is equal to E into E. Yes or no? Yes or no? Now what is the acceleration? What is the acceleration gained by this electron? So acceleration is equal to F by m. We know the formula for force. What is formula for force? F is equal to m into A, or A is equal to F by m. So when I substitute the value of A to be, F to be minus E into E divided by m. So here is the formula for the acceleration of the electron in an external electric field. Okay, right? Okay. Now, so acceleration means the electron is gaining some velocity apart from the original terminal velocity. Yes, I mean terminal velocity, right? So the gain in velocity, when it is accelerated, definitely the electron gains some velocity apart from the thermal velocity. But what is happening to the electron? Now, electrons inside a metallic conductor, they collide with the positive ions. They suffer collisions with the positive ions. That's what I was already discussing. So, whatever velocity that is gained by the electron due to the acceleration, if it is lost when the same electron collides with a positive ion. Suppose I have gained a very high energy. Okay, I'm walking very fast in a very, what do you say, crowded place. Okay, so when I walk very fastly, crowded place, so many people will be there. So what will happen to my, now when I go and hit a person in that crowded place, when I'm walking with a very high velocity, when I hit a person, what happens to my velocity, children? What happens to my velocity? Will it be the same? No, definitely it will be reducing. Same thing here with electrons also. Of course, the electrons has gained acceleration, no doubt about that. Because an electric field is given, the electron will experience a force, it gains an acceleration whose value is minus E into E by M, no doubt about that. But this electron is in collision with the positive ion. So whatever gain in velocity has been achieved by the electron, it is lost when it is colliding with the positive ion. So what will be the final velocity of an electron here? So the final velocity of the electron, to write this, I'm going to take the equation of motion, which you read once again in 11th standard, which is equal to V is equal to U plus AT. You remember this equation? This is the first equation of motion. Okay, so final velocity of an electron. So let us start with again the first electron. So electron 1. What is the final velocity gain? Now final velocity is nothing but, what is the initial velocity, which is taken as the, means initial velocity is nothing but the thermal velocity. So initial velocity plus what is the acceleration gained into the time. Let me replace it as tau 1. Is it clear? So this is with respect to the equation of motion. Now actually this velocity is the initial, which is a velocity which is possessed by the electron due to the thermal collisions in the absence of an electric field. Hope you understand the concept very clearly, children. So what will be the final velocity? It is nothing but the initial velocity plus acceleration into the time taken. So time taken, instead of t, I replace it as tau. Now being first electron, I will write it as tau 1. Okay, similarly, the next, for the second electron, for the second electron is, again I will write V2 plus A into tau 2. So what will be the average velocities? Now I calculate average velocities of the electron is equal to, this average velocity is nothing but, you call it as drift velocity. Now as soon as I give an electric field, the electrons will get accelerated and they all starts drifting towards the positive terminal. Yes or no? Yes or no, children? So they all starts moving towards the positive terminal. So I can write Vd to be, I can write Vd to be, Vd is equal to, so Vd is equal to V1 plus A tau 1 in plus V2 plus A tau 2 plus Vn A tau n divided by the number of electrons. Okay, so this Vd, I will just come to a conclusion where Vd will be exactly proportional to eta, because when I add all these things V1, V2, Vn up to n, this will become 0. This will become 0 and I will end up stating that Vd is proportional to A into tau, which means A is nothing but minus E into E by m into tau, where I see that proportional drift velocity is proportional to the electric field. I will tell you about this tau, this drift velocity, etc. Everything will be continuing this class tomorrow. I just gave you the introduction. I'll be continuing this tomorrow also, children. Okay. So, see you tomorrow with the continuation of this topic. Okay, ma?